Hello and welcome back, everyone, as we're preparing for match 2 of the day between Team Liquid Academy and Evil Geniuses Academy. Crumbs, this is looking like one of the closer ones that we'll have for today. Team Liquid only dropping a single game so far, and Evil Geniuses right behind the top 3 teams, having dropped 2 games for themselves. It's going to be an exciting match, but still, I think a little Team Liquid favor. They're looking like a very strong Academy team at the beginning of the split.
Yeah, they took their very early exit at Proving Grounds to heart and have not stopped improving since then, which they were a top team at the end of the Academy split last time around. And it just so happened that absence in games might have ended up hurting them. They had a misread in the meta, just really struggled to pull it together when it came to facing the amateur teams. But they are coming out here with a vengeance. Jenkins pulling double duty, playing LCS, getting some of that experience. Yeah. Now with Armao, who has LCS finals experience. I mean, he had a lot of experience before, but you just can't beat that kind of experience any other time. So there's a lot that you can like for this Academy team. And you talk about how close this game is going to be. The fact that both EG and TL went 1-1 yesterday tells me that that is the sign to look for when you want to see if a game is close or not. Have they been able to 2-0 the previous match? No, they haven't.
And they're both looking kind of shaky right now based on those performances yesterday, which means that either one of them can take games against each other, at least presumably. So I want to talk a little bit more about the identity of the Team Liquid draft, or the Team Liquid comp that we see here on screen, right? This roster with Jenkins still in the top lane. I was a little worried when we heard the news of, Jenkins playing in LCS. I was like, well, does that mean Alfari's going to come into Academy? Because that can really change how an Academy team develops, how they look, because they get used to playing with certain players on the team. But I'm happy that Jenkins is still in here because of another player, Harry, in the mid lane. I think this is a player that's oftentimes underlooked here in the Academy scene. He's been impressing me a lot so far in the beginning of this summer split. In the spring, if I had to kind of identify this team, I'd say it's kind of like Armao and buddies, Armao kind of leading the team around the map and everyone backing him up. But this time around in the summer, it feels like they're a much different style of team. Armao is still doing fantastically in the jungle, but Harry's really stepping it up in the mid lane performance.
Yeah, and Harry in particular has been doing really well in the bruisers, in the non-standard mages that are so prevalent right now.
That went on Yasuo yesterday.
Right? I mean, that's one of my favorite all-time mid lane picks because of the synergy that it demands from the rest of your team. Yet he's pulling out Lee Sin, he's pulling out Nocturne. You can always go with AP style bruisers like a Silas. That is such an exciting pick to watch. So there's a lot that this team is doing that is really relevant to what the meta is showcasing to be the optimal way of winning games at League of Legends. And so the fact that their skill set is lining up with what the best strategies are just makes them that much deadlier.
Well, let's talk about on the other side of the rift here, Crumbs, because we do have Evil Geniuses Academy. This is a team that we hyped up a lot coming into the summer split. If you listen to any of the other casters like Cubby, Joshi, Rafa, you've heard their voices on streams earlier on in this week and last week. This is a team that we have a lot of expectations for, and they still have a pretty strong start, right? I mean, they're still 4-2. They're not lagging too far behind in the standings, but they do have a lot of tough opponents, right, between Team Liquid, Cloud9 Academy, and 100 Thieves. Put our attention on this team to see how much better do they look at this time around as opposed to earlier last week and yesterday, because losing the game to Golden Guardians, not what you expect from a roster of this caliber. Jojo Pyun is one of my mid laners to say, again, we need to keep our eyes on this guy. He's a young player, 17 years old, and is already showing off a lot of talent, a lot of skill. Team Luca, relatively new AD carry. Tony Top, a lot of names that have a lot of potential to grow and continue. This is probably their biggest threat, their biggest competition so far in the summer, as they've had a relatively easy strength of schedule against Dignitas, TSM, and Golden Guardians. Now they're up against the big dogs in Team Liquid. So how do they hang here?
I'm going to look at the jungle for how do they hang, because if Team Liquid was the Armao and Friend show, Contrax is a jungler that at the very least has had as long and a tenured career as Armao, because when he initially came onto the scene, he was heralded as the new coming of NA junglers alongside Blabber, who was on Cloud9. Everybody wanted to sign contracts, get him on his squad, but unfortunately, it just didn't play out the way that maybe most of these organizations thought it would. And so through some LCS stints, back down to Academy, Amateur, Contracts has been slowly climbing his way back up to the scene, and he's still one of the strongest academy junglers that we feel
Yes.
can slowly just carve himself into that well-rounded jungler that is worthy of the LCS.
That's the thing about Contracts. We've seen in the academy system with this roster especially, he's got a lot of players to play around him, and he can out-jungle most, if not all, of the amateur and academy junglers right now. He's looking kind of like the top. I think Armeo is one of those junglers that really can give him some competition at this level, so I'm excited to see this matchup because, again, shared champ pool is something to take into consideration. Contracts loves these meta picks, like the Rumbles, like the Kindreds, plays the Udyr and the Dianas, but also pulls out the Nidalee. He's known for that pick. And then if you look over at the side of Armeo, very similar champ pool, but just kind of swap that Nidalee with things like, you know, the Bruisers. He'll play Trundle, he'll play Olaf, these more aggressive, you know, tank shredders or brawlers if need be. So yeah, eyes will definitely be in that matchup. But elsewhere on the map, we talked about the bot lane briefly with Team Luke. I think that he's an 80 carry that's really showing that he has a lot of carry potential. That Samsung SSD Fast 5 graphic that we saw at the beginning of the show, right? He's got the fastest to 10K out of any 80 carry. And Yan and Ayla feel to me like if you had to determine a lane to be the weak side for Team Liquid, maybe you'd probably make the argument that this would be that. You know, oftentimes they're playing more through Armeo and Jenkins, so could potentially be a win condition for Evil Geniuses if they want to play through Team Luke.
Yeah, and that's something you want to always be able to have in your pocket, being able to put any lane on weak side, because you have to play according to the draft. And so I think oftentimes Yan and Ayla have been set up in that position, while Jenkins has improved significantly. I do actually think he's gotten a lot better over time as a top laner. And so now that he's got these carries that are successful in how he's playing them, not just in the laning phase, but in the team fight, the team can count on him a little bit more. They're putting more effort to help the top lane out, so the bot lane has to play defensively. And what better way to do so than having the right champions? Though I do think that if Yeon and Ayla are actually given the opportunity to play aggressive bot laners, they can succeed on them. We have seen Ayla be a very proficient support both in lane and roaming, and I mean, how could you not? You're under the legendary core JJ. You're just watching this guy all day. You're just studying constantly. After scrims, after games, you just sit behind, you watch, and you take notes for the next game.
And one thing I'll say about Ayla, has some of the best engages as a support player in Academy. Plays a lot of the Rels, Nautiluses, and Leonas, and looks clean on those picks. That's definitely where Team Liquid like to start their fights. It's Armeo usually making the call, but Ayla going in first. We'll see what they do here as we're loaded into pick and ban here to start off the series. Crumbs, Team Liquid on the blue side will get that first priority pick, and also have to give over counter pick to Evil Geniuses Academy, who find themselves on the red side. But right off the bat, we see a Nidalee ban taken away from Contracts, and we see that Lulu ban from Evil Geniuses.
Really surprised by that Nidalee ban. I don't think the pick itself is actually a problem at all. Now, Contracts can play it really well, and it just depends on the setup that the Nidalee has. So they're getting rid of all aspects of it. The Nidalee, the Nectin, there's just no opportunity for EG to play this easy to execute combination. And even the game that Contracts got the Nidalee and got really fed on it, they weren't able to close because the setup and the composition just didn't line up for it. Nidalee's the kind of pick that can get 20 kills if you want in the jungle, but here comes a team fight. You engage quickly and you don't give her an opportunity to chuck out a spears. All the gold she has goes for just a heal on your AD carry, and at that point you might as well have had any other AP jungler.
There are other AP junglers available too, right? We see the Diana, we see the Rumble as big prio picks here, but let's see if Evil Genius to try and pinch that pool, because they already took away the Udyr, which is a target, obviously a meta ban, but also Armeo loves playing that pick here, so I think Rumble might be an option. Otherwise, Lee Sin we see as kind of blue oneable with that flexibility. I don't see either of these teams as being that big Karma player, right? Like, we just came from a series where both teams were contesting that Karma, but this time around, I expect less of that. Gwen ban makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, the Gwen is something that most teams have been banning on red, although the blue side bans of her have come out recently for teams that just don't want to first pick it. They don't want to deal with having to put her in any lane or even having to craft the composition around her. Just don't play against her at all. said they will be first picking the Ezreal, which can set us up for those Karma lanes
Yeah.
if we really want to see it, as TL main did play that last week. But Yeon and Ayla is a different story. There's plenty of combinations that work with Ezreal.
I was just saying I don't expect to see Karma out of either of these teams, but as soon as that Ezreal's locked in, you kind of expect to see it after that. So Evil Geniuses, what's their answer? They actually lock in the Rumble, which Karma's really good into, so this is making more and more argument for Team Liquid to lock that in. Evil Geniuses could still pick it away if they want to. They could lock in the Karma right here, and I kind of feel like they're almost pigeonholing themselves into that.
Or you can just take the chance and say, all right, maybe TL won't get it, because Nautilus would be amazing with the Rumble. Even though you do have a Karma to shield you and speed yourself out of it, if you just wait for the stun to land, you will be able to lock somebody down inside it. So Team Liquid can have a Karma that will be a really good answer to the Rumble, pairs with the Ezreal, but could open themselves up to being bullied in the bottom lane. Instead, though, they're thinking about what jungle matchup they want into the Rumble right away. It's going to be Kindred for our mileage. Yep. It's just another argument for Karma, Kangas.
Exactly, and they lock it in. I'm like, the Karma is so strong with the Kindred, with the Ezreal against the Rumble. Like, at this point, you don't not pick it. Your composition's drafting itself. Evil Geniuses will have to get something a little more aggressive. Varus is on the table. That's what I'm thinking of here as maybe something that they want to pick to further enable that Rumble, right? You mentioned the Nautilus. They want things that can lock members down in that equalizer. They need that to actually work, because against a Kindred, against a Karma, it's going to be hard otherwise. But no, they actually lock into Tristana, so still opting for that priority, the strong, flexible picks.
Good range, a good ability to punt anybody out of the Kindred ultimate. You already have the kick and the buster shot to do so, but I like the Varus suggestion by you as well, because you want poke. That's really imperative here against the TL composition. They want you to run in. The Ezreal, the Kindred, the Karma are great at disengaging and keeping you at arm's length. They're not good at starting the fight. So if you can just play a poke comp and make it so that TL doesn't have the opportunity to land damage for free against tanks, that doesn't have the opportunity to poke because you're outranging them with picks like the Jace or the Varus, then you really put them in a bind. Kindred hates dealing with poke champions, so if EG can draft more in that direction, they can set themselves up for success, as the Rumble doesn't have to be hard committed to engage. You don't have to pair him with the Nautilus combo and hard engage every time. I think if they have the Nautilus here, it's still useful, but you can have a Jace as a last pick as well.
Let's see if they go for the range, go for the dive. Because again, like you said, they do have options to push that Kindred out of Lamb's Respite too. So if they want to just really hard commit to dive options, maybe that's also a strategy. But Team Liquid are taking away some of those, right? The Rel band away. I like this from Evil Geniuses Academy. Jenkins is a big cannon player, so that's just a target ban against Jenkins. But then the Braum ban here as well. If Team Liquid got Braum, I'd be willing to say GG at that point. Like, that composition's pretty much Exodia. But Team Liquid Academy still focused on these engaged supports, so Leona also off the table.
Okay, yeah, they want to make sure that the engage options are pretty much just Nautilus, right? That's the easiest you want. You're not really interested in playing the Alistar because the laning phase would be so brutal, and you don't actually know if it's Karma in the mid lane just yet. So EG will just happily take it. It does work with what they've got. They can easily accelerate the game before the game turns into a 5v5 with the Nautilus pick. So it can really work if Mystiques gets out of the laning phase and starts roaming with it.
Mystic Quest, actually, Crumbs. We did a whole segment on this. I was incorrect as well. Twitch chat. Everybody in Twitch chat's probably gonna start flaming me for saying Mystic Quest, but I will go to bat for you, Mystic Quest. You went to Gamepedia and put your own voiceover to say how to correctly say your name. So if you're willing to do that, then I'm willing to change my ways and call you the correct thing. But here we go. Support locked in here for Team Liquid Academy. Ayla gets the Taric.
Now this comp is just so difficult to kill now with the Lamb's Respite. We just cast the game where it was Karma, Taric, and a Xin instead, but now you have an ultimate that keeps multiple members just from dying in general. It's a lot of range too. They really just don't have a way to engage. Now, I think Jace, you gotta pick Jace, Tony Top. This pick not only will beat Gnar in the laning phase, but you have poke It combos so well. I think that if EG lock the Aurelion, they're asking for trouble to dive into TL.
There we
Yes,
go.
that's exactly what you needed to do.
Nice. All right, so yeah, like you said, this provides them range, poke, because the Kindred ultimate, the Targ ultimate, kind of predictable, right? You see those coming out. Kindred's going to drop it if you're diving in, but if you're instead just poking from range, then that gives you more windows to actually blow up that Kindred. And then, of course, you can poke them down to target, you bait out the ultimate there. The only thing is that the Karma Shields can try and help mitigate that, right? So like Team Liquid have some slight answers, but if Tony Top can get ahead, can get some lethality items, that poke will definitely hurt.
Yeah, and because Karma's shield, you want to be using it to move around and not just to protect yourself. So much of her identity as a mid laner that assists the jungler is in actually speeding him up. If you just have to be using it defensively to protect our Male from getting half HP'd by a single shock blast, you'll never have the speed shield available to actually get him to engage. So it's going to be a matter of EG, if they can get significantly far ahead with their poke picks, to actually pull apart Team Liquid's 5-man death squad. And on the side of TL, obviously a lot of the game will come down to Kindred, how she fights for their marks. But once they start grouping up, double range carries, if they get fed, oh, it's scary. It's really scary. It's almost worse than the Xin crisis that 100 Thieves is single-handedly starting.
I like the Kindred pick a lot here. I've not been shy about sharing that opinion, so I'm excited to watch Team Liquid loaded up onto the Rift here on the blue side versus Evil Geniuses on the red for the game 1 of our match 2 of the day here. Best of 2. Teams will have to duke it out one more time after this, but based on how things are looking here, like you said, Crumbs, Team Liquid, very strong scaling. If they can get their carries fed, pretty much unbeatable. Evil Geniuses, though, they're going to want to play a little scrappier, right? They still have some very strong solo laners. If Jace gets ahead, if Lee Sin gets ahead, they can really take over games on their own. And that's the big concern that I have for Team Liquid's draft, is that maybe the argument you could make is that they don't have enough priority to keep Kindred safe, right? I think a Lee Sin can actually do a decent job of shoving that Karma in. Or at least not getting shoved in by the Karma, so that means less priority for Harry to play around Armeo.
And that priority is so necessary to get those marks. If you don't have prio as Kindred, it's just not going to happen. Those invades to go for those camps to actually get the crabs that you need are just so unlikely without your laners being able to help you out. So it's going to be really important for these laners to be very aggressive, to fight for that priority so that the jungle matchup can be dictated not by Armeo, but by contracts.
Tony Top just pushing Jenkins back right now, heavily trading against the Gnar, making sure that he gets behind in the XP right now. But we do see Armeo start on the top side, which presumably means pathing bot, but I mean, we've seen a lot of non-traditional jungle paths from Armeo. I think that's the biggest thing about him as a jungler, is he's willing to not go for the standard paths. So I won't be too surprised if he actually went topside early on, but no, as a Kindred, he is still going for the full clear on the top half of the map first, before trying to impact any lanes, which means that Contracts is actually going to be top to back up Tony Top. Yeah, this is that. This is the Jace Gnar matchup, everybody.
He's doing a really good job in landing these shock blasts. Every time we've looked up, he's actually hit them, and that ends up mattering so much in keeping Jenkins at bay. So first we got a bot lane fight, just gonna be a little stun, a little cheeky of a damage from Ayla coming out of the brush. But now the junglers will start to think about where they're going to be ganking, because it's so tempting when so much action is constantly happening, especially around the side that the junglers are ending up on. There's an opportunity for a dive onto Jenkins. Once he turns Mega, he'll exhaust himself when the wave crashes, and Armeo is recognizing that. He's going topside. We're going to have our first fight over the scuttle.
Yeah, Armeo's heading top, even though his mark is bot, which maybe this is a read of like, okay, Mark's bot, so probably Contracts going there, but he will get a scuttle and actually not pathing towards the top half of the map. So if Contracts wants to go for this dive, he might identify it. He sees that the scuttle was taken, and this is actually going to be a double scuttle to Armeo on the Kindred. This is a really good start for Armeo.
And that's a team effort. Armeo sees that, hey, the Rumble might end up into the top side. If I can just get there first, if he's not immediately going for that objective, if he goes for Krugs, which he did after going for the Raptor camp, I'm going to be able to take both crabs, and that way you ensure that you get that first mark, since the bottom lane was also pushed out. So this is really useful for the Kindred because he skipped the Raptors and the Krugs. That's what allowed him to pass back to the top side as level 3 and make it there for the mark on spawn.
You just don't expect that, right? I mean, if you're Contracts, you don't think that that's the jungle path that Kindred will take. It doesn't feel that efficient, but obviously it's working out for Armeo as Contracts shows top side looking for something onto Jenkins, but Jenkins just gets information for the team, and that means that more info for Armeo, who gets that back, picks up double long swords, has the double scuttle, first mark, and is already getting this Kindred well into the game, whereas Contracts on the Rumble lagging a little bit behind.
And Mystic Quest just finding a good control ward there that Ayla doesn't actually get to spot right away. Interesting that both supports were thinking about something happening in the top side with this big wave being crashed by Tony. So they're both trying to read what the laners are asking of the team and trying to just be there to prevent any action from happening that could snowball in one way or the other.
Moment of breath here as no action has happened early on. As I say, that Team Luke jumps in, of course. He's trying to keep things spicy for us, but the early game has been relatively quiet right now. It's just focused on efficient clearing and who's able to catch these waves. We see teleports used from both mid laners. Not both top laners, though. Tony top on the Jace does opt to just walk back into lane after shoving that wave in. So it has the CS advantage on the top half of the map and TP advantage too, which to me says Evil Geniuses could start to think about this dragon.
They could if Contract's bases or path is back to the bot side, because getting more attention down to the bot side, to the dragon, once Rumble is level 6 would be really the way to go about it. That way you ensure that you are going to win that fight. If you go for it now, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of priority, let alone vision, as TL has been guarding that area so diligently. Armeo is level 5, looking for Jojo, who's playing pretty aggressive, and he's getting ganked right now.
Yeah, look at the mid lane. Jojo Pyun, level 6, has to kick Harry away, but Armeo's joined in now. Will probably flash here, needs to flash quick, but doesn't in time. First blood over to Armeo. Outside 2, they're fighting in a 2v2. Team Blue throws out the heal. That's all Summoner spells down from Evil Geniuses. If Team Liquid can continue their aggression, they will find him, but no, Evil Geniuses back off.
That was Jojo Pyun being aggressive. That was him asserting his dominance onto Harry. The Karma is rarely the champion that's going to ask the Lee Sin to put himself in that position. Still had the flash. Him going so aggro put himself exactly where Armeo wanted him. And if the damage wasn't enough that it was a kill going over to the Kindred as first blood, it actually got a mark off. Right before he died, the mark triggered, and now she's at 2 stacks.
That is acceleration for the Kindred right now. 7 minutes in, you're already halfway to that next evolve. Extra range, extra attack speed on the Q. So, yeah, I mean, that's going to feel really good for Armeo. And Jojo Pyun opted for it. Like you said, he's the one that thought he had the play.
I mean, the key thing is that he used his shield so early to try to actually keep himself alive in front of tanking Karma. Lee is one of those champions that has so many ways to actually disengage. For example, you could just kick the Kindred away and then ward hop over or dash to the minion line. There's a million ways to play it, and that's why players love it, and that's why audience members love to see Lee Sin, because every single game is just going to be different, and oftentimes there's rarely a play you can look back and say, I played that absolutely perfectly. There is almost always something, certainly, that you could do different and better with him.
Like right here over the wall, getting onto Harry. But again, it's a Karma. Look at the trade back. Like, Jojo can make action happen, but every time Armeo's here too. So he's got to be careful, jump on the Contracts. Evil Geniuses mid laner trying to make things happen and struggling to do so. But Evil Geniuses as a whole are rotating up to this Rift Herald. We see Mystic Quest has roamed up from the bottom side. Ayla will match that roam, but is a little behind on the play, so I think Evil Geniuses will have this.
It looks like Ayla wants to fight this, though. He's already here, and there is a Lamb's Respite onto Armeo, who's going to try to sneak this camp. Oh, cheeky play by him. Will he get caught for this, though?
I think so, yeah. He's a little late on this. Jojo Pyun's right on top of him, but again, the double supports. There's not much Evil Geniuses can do to stop Armeo from being in that area with a Taric and a Karma on top of him. So Rift Herald will go over to Evil Geniuses. They pick over that neutral standing objective. Let's see what they can get for that, because we're still 9 minutes into the game. Turret plates are available, and Team Liquid are trying to make the trade onto the Dragon.
They're really happy with that trade. They didn't have to commit many members to the Rift Herald. Ayla hasn't missed a whole lot, and they got another Mark and the Dragon. Kindred's at 4. I just got to see it over on the left side. She must have got another Mark that we weren't paying attention to, and now at 4 stacks before 10 minutes, she's such a menace. That extended range is really going to sting. She is just gonna be so dominant with the Karma right behind her, speeding her up, allowing her to hit you so far away. Yeon!
Oh, Team Luke finds Yeon. Throws out the Buster Shot. Yeon arcane shifts away, but the reset. Team Luke jumps further in and will get that kill. Ayla cannot keep his AD carry alive. Evil Geniuses successfully get a kill bot side, and the Rift Tail drop top. They take first turret as well.
Really well played by Yeon to actually arcane shift out of the Buster Shot, but still the bait that Team Luke had set up for him was too much to handle. Still got the kill, and now they get the shove out the way. The consolation prize, though, is that everybody was so distracted that Armero gets another stack onto the Kindred, so slowly but surely building that stack dominance, but at some point the rest of the team will need some help as the gold lead starts to accelerate on EG's favor.
You're starting to think Evil Geniuses, this is pretty much best case scenario. We talked about their composition and what they want to do. Well, Tony Top just got a huge injection of gold onto the Jace, which means that this Jace will be online. Is that poke going to be enough, though, to deal with Armeo, who's had a very accelerated Kindred jungle performance? We're going to have to keep tracking that, because that's really the name of the game here, is can Team Liquid get to the late game where their composition really starts to shine, or will Evil Geniuses have too much pressure early on?
At least they've got that gold. Like you mentioned, Tony Top, if he is ahead, if he has the right items, his poke will hurt. That's really his whole job. No longer is Jace the champion that is just trying to get kills in lane. He's just trying to build CS leads and then group for a fight, land some crucial shockwaves, and deter Team Liquid from actually taking the fight, from them to be able to group up and march as 5. So Tony now finding the avenues to actually group. If they can hit a shockwave onto Armeo, they could just pop him.
Look at Armeo in a 1v2 situation. Harry's there, Lamp Spike goes down. Contracts and Tony Top are both on top of Armeo. They're trying to get the Kindred, but look at that burst onto Tony Top over the wall. Jenkins, not quite mega yet, so they don't lock down Evil Geniuses. Wow, that was a lot of burst damage from Harry and Armeo together. They almost just took down Tony Top.
Those two really hurt. He has the mythic item already completed. It's actually the first one on the map with a mythic already online. So Armeo is incredibly powerful, and despite base checking, the Lamb's Respite allows the rest of the team to buy a lot of time. Jojo Pion saved his squad by kicking Jenkins away, because that could have been disaster had Dinar stayed in there to chase them down after they got so low inside Lamb's Respite.
Kind of surprised Jenkins didn't flash that wall, honestly. I think the Team Liquid could have just forced the play a little further, but I guess there's no objectives to take on the map, so presumably that's what they're thinking is, hey, there's no reason to blow our big cooldowns for no big lead or advantage. We're still fine scaling. We're still in a very comfortable state in this game, as that gold lead has shrunk now to only 1,000 in the favor of Evil Geniuses. So now, again, question on Evil Geniuses, how do they want to play this one out? Because they still have Tony Top, even though he doesn't have a turret to take anymore. He's still in the top lane. He's still pressuring a lane that he can't get much done in.
They need to start incorporating Misty Quest now. He's level 6, and Nautilus can just press R to delete single members. If Contracts and him join up and start taking fights with their ultimate, that should be how Evil Geniuses can start to get kills and make it so that Team Liquid, despite their shields and invulnerabilities, just don't have an opportunity to fight back. So watching the jungle and support is often the best way to accelerate the pace of the game, and that's what EG needs to do if they want to avoid the impending doom that will be the Kindred Karma.
And right now they have Mystic Quest getting vision on the bottom side of the map, so not playing around Tony Top yet, but playing around this dragon that's spawning in under a minute here. So they do have inside track, they have some shallow-ish wards onto Team Liquid's jungle, but now Team Liquid can group up, and this is where their composition really shines. Once they can group up the Karma, Kindred, Tarek, and have Ezreal just throw out Mystic shots over a wall, really difficult for Evil Geniuses to actually deal with that unless they have a hard engage. Now they might have just caught out Ayla. The Tarek's in trouble. Pops the Aftershock, so he's pretty tanky. Now Armeo's just throwing arrows into Mystic Quest. Jojo Pion kicks him away. and both teams disengage, but that is teleport out of Tony Top. He did TP in to join the play.
Happy to get that teleport. It might come at the cost of the dragon though. TP's a little bit early and EG will respond by having Jojo Pyong go to the top side. He does have TP. Oh, he got jumped again.
Team Luke hit again. Onto Yan, gets a reset for the Rockets. And flash out of Yan. Team Luke. I mean, you said that Armeo was the only one to complete a mythic item. Well, now there's a couple coming in for Evil Geniuses, one of which on the Tristana, and you're starting to feel that if you're Yan now.
Team Luke is keeping his eyes open for where this Ezreal is gonna be and just trying to jump him. Worked once for a kill, twice it got summoners, and that's gonna turn into some gold in the bot lane. Fortunately for him, the plates have already been taken down, but the rest of Team Liquid can take that time to get so much more on the map. They're gonna get that first turret as well, as Armeo is also shoving that lane, and he's already at 6 stacks on Kindred. Yeah, one more, he's gonna be at the double range extension.
That's what I love about the Kindred pick. I was talking with one of the color casters for Academy, Coco the Dragon, and he was saying that what Kindred does to a game is it makes the enemy jungler think, okay, am I going to contest for these stacks, or am I going to go for objectives? We just saw Contracts go for that Dragon. Great, you picked that up, but hey, that stack on the top side, Kindred picks it up and also gets a Rift Herald for it. So Armeo's doing a fantastic job of always trading something else on the map for anything that Evil Geniuses want to do, and is really keeping Team Liquid in this game.
And 7 marks is 100 extra range, which would put her basic attacks at a ridiculous range of 600. A little bit more, she's gonna be like a Caitlyn, and except she does way more damage than that. So this Kindred pick is gonna be a really important key to track for this game because of the combination that she'll have with Karma, because of the ability to just stay alive for so long. Lamb's Respite inside a Taric ultimate is just gonna be ridiculous. That's your job, Kangas. I'm sorry, it's gonna have to happen. You're gonna have to somehow figure out who's dying and how they're staying alive.
I don't think many people on Team Liquid are gonna be dying once they group up in team fight. I don't know, that's just a hunch that I have. But let's also take a little bet. Everybody in Twitch chat, let us know, who do you think is gonna have longer range by the end of the game? Team Luke or Armeo? As the play happens on the bottom side, Tony Top has the flash. Actually, no, it's just coming off cooldown, so he does not have it available. Armeo picks up a kill. Easy peasy for Team Liquid. They get a nice pickup on the bot side. What more do they push?
Super good timing. Tony Tup's flash just now came up, so they had a few seconds. Airy flashes to ensure there's no way out for Tony Tup. No extra mark going over for Armeo, but that kill will allow them to push down this tier 1 and get another turret. So TL get an objective kill after that kill onto Tony.
An Evil Genius is not what you want, having your top lane split pusher poke machine getting picked off in a side lane there. They got to think about how they want to come back into this game. It's weird to say comeback when they have the gold lead, but that's what it feels like, right? When you're staring down this scaling comp and you can't snowball a lead in the early game, eventually Team Liquid will just kind of reach critical mass, and there's not much Evil Geniuses can do after that point other than making these picks, making these crazy clutch plays. I mean, talk about that Lamb's Respite. Maybe Jojo Pyong or Team Luke can knock somebody out of that and make the crazy play, but you don't want it to rely on that level of, you know, chance of success, because those low chance of success plays usually don't net wins for teams. And Evil Geniuses need every win that they can get right now, as they're still 1 win behind most of the teams at the top. They're kind of middle of the pack right now, despite being positive in their standings, and they are mid. So to get another turret, I like this, still being proactive. Now Contracts onto Armeo in the jungle. He has got some backup from Jojo Pyong. There's not Lamb's Respite, but Jojo Pyong has the Dragon's Kick. There we go. Oh, does actually get Armeo out. Armeo's still alive, and even on top of the equalizer. That was that Tara combo that you highlighted before. Evil Geniuses just can't kill anybody from Team Liquid. They're struggling so much. Now the engage from Jenkins actually misses everybody. Hits the blue buff, so that's secured for the team. But still, Evil Geniuses get out without any deaths. No kills either. Maybe I spoke too soon as Team Luke jumps on the Yan. Yet again, he's going for more. Dazzle lands. Jojo Pyong trying to buy space, trying to eat these mystic shots for Team Luke. He doesn't have any backup. No one dies from the entire play.
Yet they were on a nice edge the whole time. I am so impressed with Jojo Pyong taking so many Lee Sin Q's in that fight. I thought half of them were going to surely end in his death, but with the Gore Drinker to gain some extra life back, he keeps himself alive through that whole fiasco. And they got the Lancer Spy, and they got the Tarek ultimate. Those key ultimates might be down by the time this dragon fight happens, and so the fact that they get no one killed is not necessarily a bad thing. You got the ultimates, and now Team Liquid have to think twice about taking this fight at Dragon, because those are so important for the way their composition needs to operate. Whereas EG, well, you still got your Shock Blast, you still have your Equalizer, Depth Charge will be available, so they're much more suited to fight right now.
But I like this answer from Team Liquid. Armeo drops the Rift Herald topside, so they're not trying to play for that dragon fight. They're saying, look, we'll just play cross map again. We're fine. You're not close to Dragon Soul. You only have one so far, so that's going to be your second dragon. Get more marks on the Kindred, more turrets taken topside. I believe that was another mark right there. We'll have to keep track of Armeo's marks if Observer can show us that here. Okay, no, only still 6 marks right now. But still, all these camps going over to Armeo, they should get 2 turrets for the dragon trade. Evil Geniuses, they really, they're betting a lot on this dragon stacking, and they're giving up a lot for it.
Oh, wait a minute.
For this. No, they don't commit.
If Mystic Quest wasn't there, he might have thought about it, because Tony does not have flash.
Oh, he was thinking about it the whole time. I promise you that.
Okay. EG at least gets the red, though, so they are trading objectives in the red side jungle. But Nara in Megaform can be really dangerous if they linger around. They have to get this objective and get out. That's what they will do. And then they'll have to reset now. But even though it's only early into the game, Baron is a real threat. Nautilus and Triss are going to go into Armeo.
Armeo's all alone. He's got a teleport coming in. Lancer Spite was off cooldown, so he's still alive. Team Luke just getting some damage in. Buster shot, but the shields from Harry should get up. No, they're not. They missed time. A kill goes over to Team Luke. Big shutdown. Armeo finally dies.
Really well played there out of Team Luke, busting him out and keeping the explosive charge onto the Kindred, not exploding it, making sure that it would trigger outside the range of the Lancer Spite, and that gets you the kill. That's a big one. You got the ultimate again. Now you get to counter jungle, and now Kindred is not as speedy as she was before and getting these advantages that she was so interested in seeking after, although TL looking to collapse onto contracts.
Look at Jenkins, look at Harry and Ayla, everyone collapsing onto contracts. The poor Rumble, he's all cut out for the rest of his team, will be the sacrificial lamb, but as I say that, Jojo Pyun's here. No, they giving up. Evil Geniuses cannot defend their jungler, so Team Liquid do get the clap back.
It kind of hurts more than it should have because contracts popped the stopwatch without any need to do so. Although it looks like Tony might be looking for an extra play. Oh, Armeo.
He sees Armeo. Yeah, oh, he misses the jump over the wall. Team Luke's there too, and with no lambs or spite. Another pickup for Evil Geniuses. That's 2 deaths on Armeo now, but the rest of Team Liquid have joined in here. Jenkins jumping in onto Team Luke. The JCC and damage from range. Shut down over to Jenkins. Now chasing down Mystic Quest. He'll flash, he'll hook shot under turret for safety, and should be safe right now. But the dive is coming through for Team Liquid. They don't want to hard commit to it. They just want these turrets, and Evil Geniuses don't want to give it to them. They will clear the wave and defend this mid turret.
The Team Liquid squad, it was really mad that they did that to Armeo. They had just killed contracts in the top side, so they're so quick at speeding their way through the river with the Karma Shield to help out him again. They made sure that they were going to be able to take down Team Luke, and you saw just how deadly that combination can be. When the Nar goes in, the second that stun lands, the chain autos, the chain CC is just too much. They see contracts here as he took the Gromp, and once this slow hits, there was just no way out for him. He wasn't going to be able to outpace Harry. Even with the gate, he wouldn't have made it. There's such a long lane, so many more members coming back. It's a buying time, just kind of waste his stopwatch. Maybe would have had a Zanyas right now. We'll see what he purchases with the gold afterwards, but all in all,
close to killing Harry. But then this is the play that happens next, right? Armeo just spotted Team Luke, and Jojo Pyun did a really good job routing him.
They know he has no ultimate, and both have ultimates, or at least the Lee Sin does as well, so they can kick him out if it really is necessary. He doesn't want to take any chances, uses the kick that maybe could have been saved for a disengage, but we've seen how many times Karma can just somehow make it out of nowhere, shield the carries, and somehow they live. Not interested in seeing it happen again, so they just blow everything to make sure he stays dead.
And they also got the, Shurelias on Ayla as well. So Taric and Karma, they got double Shurelias.
Yeah.
This is a little degenerate. I'm not going to lie, Team Liquid. The Death Ball composition to end all Death Ball compositions. I thought that the Soda Taric meta was rough. But I guess this is where we're at in 2021, everybody. Because they can run down Evil Geniuses no matter where they are. Which is why I was impressed that Evil Geniuses were able to make a couple picks, right? That's what they need to do. They need to find members caught out from Team Liquid and continue that into another big objective. But Team Liquid every time have at least answered something for these picks.
Now they're gonna answer the Dragon as well, because they're shoving out the mid lane. They have enough poke. Ezreal is at the 2-item power spike. The Sunder and the Mirror Mana really deadly. This poke will stick. EG needs to land their own. That's a single shock blast. But it doesn't look like it's gonna be a whole lot. There's a lot of heals. TL is already grouped and threatening the engagement. Jenkins about to go Mega.
They want to start this fight, but Jenkins is out of the fight before it begins. Does not hit Mega, walks blind into the river, and Evil Geniuses do have enough burst damage to take him out. 5v4 now. What can Evil Geniuses get for this? They're posturing around the Baron. Team Liquid, they didn't use a lot of ultimates other than Ayla, so they do still have Armeo. They do still have Harry. They might be able to contest this, and Jenkins will have teleport in 20 seconds when he's back up. So Team Liquid just want to buy time, but everyone's jumping in. Onto Armeo. Lancer's Blade goes down early. He's kicked out. Jojo Bjorn with the mechanical outplay against Armeo, and Evil Genius is run through Team Liquid Academy. They will get a clean ace for their trouble and have full control of Summoner's Rift. Wow, what a performance.
EG's comps were so clean in that fight. They got the pick. They knew Team Liquid had to contest the Baron. They couldn't afford to give it up. But since they know that Team Liquid has to go in and look for a fight, the call is immediate. Use the Baron to bait, prioritize the fight. And the second Armeo face checks Mystic Quest, the rest of the team hops over the wall and they delete him. Beautiful use of the Lee Sin kick to get him out. No chance of staying alive and dealing damage. This is exactly the value that we saw in Champ Select from the Lee Sin and the Tristana, put to great use. Jenkins about to go Mega, just so close, but gets instantly deleted. Didn't have time to even pop the ultimate, but they got the Carrick ult out of that one. That was a huge cooldown to get from it, so EG feels confident in their ability to take these fights. They don't spot out Mystic Quest, and so when Armeo is thinking, ooh, where could be my angle to go for a steal, pop the Blast Cone, immediately our ultimates just dropped on top of the Kindred, and then the Lamb's Respite is used against them. The rest of EG can stand on top of it and deliver punishment for the retreating TL.
Team Liquid, couple big misplays there. Evil Geniuses, couple impressive outplays there. And now, we were asking the question before, Crumbs, how big of a gold lead does Evil Geniuses need to pull this composition off? Well, I think at this point, 7K in the lead. Baron on this bottom wave. This might be enough. I think that they can actually push for the end here if they can get a couple kills, or at least break this inhibitor turret bot side. There's a big chunk coming in from Yan. Two-shot barrage does hurt, but they still have big cooldowns. They still have ultimates on all members, and there we go. Equalizer goes down just to try and buy some space. The turret hasn't fallen yet. Jojo Pyun gets out to safety, and again, they bait out the Taric ultimate. Team Liquid not ready to fight now. They don't even have Lamb's Respite off the cooldown, so Evil Geniuses can just walk forward and try and force this, but with Jenkins in Mega form, I guess they're giving respect over to the Gnar. I want to see them play aggressive, Evil Geniuses. Get in their faces, man. They got nothing to answer you with other than a little bit of poke, and you can hard engage, but Evil Geniuses playing with the wave, playing it safe.
Waiting for the major cooldown to Shock Blast. Oh, he's good. Good thing that hook didn't hit for Mystic Quest. LC is instantly dead.
That would have been really glad. It's one of those ones where you're like, whew, I was just spooking them, right? Right, team? We all knew that that wasn't going to hit, but Evil Geniuses get the bottom inhibitor, rotate through the jungle, clearing up these camps, and now focus mid. Team Liquid on full defensive, full reactive right now, and the Rift, every lane belongs to Evil Geniuses, but the hard engage from Team Liquid. They get the Jenkins ultimate! The engage! It is traded back. Jenkins immediately goes down. Team Liquid wanted so much more out of that. But at the end of the day, they only get contracts.
A really smart engage there between Ayla and Jenkins. Flash Taric stun into the Jenkins combo. But there just isn't that kind of burst. It's double marksman. They have DPS. It takes a while. They don't have incredibly high damage items just yet. And so even though multiple members are locked down, they're only able to take out contracts. A single kill deterring the Baron after an inhibitor is gone. That's still a win on EG's book. And they're going to be happy to take this reset and now position themselves for the Cloud Soul in 2 minutes. They can continue to push, but even after the retreat of that push, if it doesn't get them an inhibitor, they'll have a fight they can fall back on.
Now imagine that Jenkins' ultimate engage landed alongside of Ayla's Cosmic Radiance. That kind of combo is game ending right there. That's team fight wiping right there, but Team Liquid not quite able to pull it off. It was impressive. Jenkins said, hey guys, I did my job, where's everybody else? And they were playing a little far back. And again, this is 2 times now that we've seen, even in Mega form, Jenkins gets blown up by Evil Geniuses. If all 4 damage dealers, that's a Jay's Rumble, Lee Sin, Tristana. Poor little Nar can't handle all that. So he dies for just way too fast.
There's just so much burst, right? Mixed damage burst based on low health too. Both Jace, Lee Sin, even the Rumble, the Tristana, there is just a ridiculous amount of DPS. And now Triss has her Infinity Edge completed. Team Luke is so fed. He is close to zeroing in on 100 CS over Yon, who's just about to finish his 3rd item. So the Tristana lead is very real, and her range is still longer than Kindred. So the advantage that was built on the marks just can't come close to what Triss is offering right now.
Evil Geniuses Academy are on the precipice of taking a game off of one of the top teams in Academy right now. 100 Thieves cement themselves in first place for now, but Team Liquid and Cloud9 are both looking to be teams that match them in that record, but Team Liquid need to get a win here. Maybe it starts with the pick onto Jojo Kyun. If they can take out this Lee Sin, which I think they will, here we go, yeah! He tries to jump out of Harry, tries to get a trade of damage, but will not succeed. Guardian Angel popped as well. Oh, he's getting away. Fine time for the team. Shutdown goes over to Armeo. Is that enough time for Evil Geniuses to get this dragon?
It is. It is going to be the dragon. I mean, they aren't going to lose a Nexus turret as multiple members are basing on time. So they get a pick, but it's a really steep cost. You didn't offer a fight at the Cloud Soul, so EG now gets that objective for free, and that's really going to sting. The extra mobility means that what you wanted out of Karma is going to mean so much less when the enemy has a natural speed buff, and another one that gets hasted when they pop an ult.
But the thing is, Team Liquid still have a great team fighting composition around these neutral objectives if they can set up for them. They're lacking a bit of that hard engage because they kind of rely on Jenkins for that, but they still have Kindred, Taric, Karma. That's a lot of shields and a lot of ability to fight, so they got these big item power spikes. They're looking to force Barrett for themselves while they have a slight tempo lead. Jenkins has teleport. He's already Mega, though, so he will not be Mega for this fight. Evil Geniuses are teleporting Jojo Kyun behind with the flank. There's a big equalizer slowing down multiple members. Evil Geniuses push Team Liquid back, but they do not hard commit to the fight. And now they're actually teleporting mid. They're putting Tony top mid lane to try and take another inhibitor.
He's gonna get it. This TP's gonna be too late, and Harry as Karma just can't defend him. He has to respect, though, that he can get tethered. Oh. Team Luke!
And now they throw down the Nautilus ultimate onto Armeo. They get Taric hold out. They don't need to go for more. That's a big cooldown one for Evil Geniuses. You trade Nautilus ult for Taric ult any day of the week, especially when you have 3 Cloud Dragons. Mr. Quez, oh no, that hook landed on the wall. He doesn't die for it. Team Liquid don't quite have enough burst damage to take him out. Trying to put over the wall, trying to get onto Jenkins, and Ayla very tanky on this Lee Sin. Evil Geniuses get the Baron. Now can they take the fight? Team Liquid, they have the lamest fight down early. They're trying to play with this range. They're trying to poke down Jojo Kyun, and Evil Geniuses are out of engage options. Jenkins gets hit away by Team Luke's Buster Shot. and over the wall dies Tony Top, or actually no, it was instead Armeo that dies, and Evil Geniuses ready to fight with Team Luke. This Tristana's just outputting so much damage, he's untouched, he gets the triple, he's going for the quadra kill to Team Luke. Evil Geniuses, they win the Baron, they win the fight, and they're gonna take the game against Team Liquid Academy. What a performance from this crew.
They really showed off today, playing so well around the mechanics that were necessary to defeat the Team Liquid draft, biding their time, taking key cooldowns, and so many times just kicking the Taric ults or the Kindred ults out to make sure that they got no value out of that one. They really played smartly around those cooldowns, and it showed. Those fights became increasingly one-sided. The more they played patient, the more they knew that they had those specific windows to fight and those not to, avoid the ones where they have their cooldowns up. And it was so much easier for them than any other team that we've seen go up against Karma this week.
I was worried looking at the draft, Crumbs. I thought this is Team Liquid's comfort. This is where they like to play. But the question was, how much pressure can Evil Geniuses exert with their strong solo laners? And the answer was enough. Tony Top got a lead in the top lane. They broke that turret. Mid lane also, I feel like the Lee Sin pick did a good job of just stopping Karma from pushing waves and then roaming. And yes, even though we saw Kindred start to stack up those marks, there was always Evil Geniuses trying to make other plays around the map, and the patience that they had in those late game team fights is really what brought it all together. Great performance from the Evil Geniuses Academy roster. This is a roster that we had a lot of hopes for, and they've dropped games against TSM and Golden Guardians, 2 at the bottom of the standings, so it was looking rough, but picking up a win against Team Liquid, this feels good.
They tie the score now, right? These two teams are tied, so this next win can actually determine how the standings will play out. It ends up mattering to just have that early momentum, to just look at them and know, all right, we're ahead of Team Liquid this week, start building up that advantage from one team to the next. So I think that EG can be pretty happy with this win. I thought they played well, recognizing how they needed to pivot their composition from the very beginning in the draft, and then they executed on it. This is a very good reactive draft and play out of them that they can learn a lot from and apply it in future matches.
Well, we'll see if they can keep it going, because the match isn't over, Crumbs. That was only game 1 of our best of 2 series. Evil Geniuses up 1-0 against Team Liquid Academy. We're going to send it to a short break before we're back to figure out who's able to clinch this one out, if Team Liquid maintain their lead and even up the scoreline against Evil Geniuses, or if EGA show that they are top dogs in Academy. Either way, you're not going to want to miss it, so don't go anywhere.